Hey, welcome to Life That's Real. We are here in Hilton Head, South Carolina. It's a little bit of a cool day out here today. We're out riding bikes along the beach. That's a real blessing. I want to talk to you today about direction, kind of continuing on with what Lisa said. God said in Jeremiah 29:11, He says, I know the plans. You could translate that paths, ways, direction that He has for you. He says, I know the direction that I have for you. It's a direction for good and not for evil. It's a direction to give you a future. It's a direction to give you a hope. It's a direction that sometimes we almost have to do what's called misdirection to get there. It's kind of strange. The children of Israel were traveling in the desert. They'd gone back and forth and back and forth. That wasn't the initial plan that God had for them, but that's the way that they did it. They ended up, by the time they got finished with the 40 years, they ended up with a group of people that were stronger than any other group of people that were around in through there. So that when they went in to take the promised land, it was greater, and they were in greater shape, greater physical capabilities than any of the ones that had been city dwellers for all that period of time. They also were warriors. They took the cities by force, but they also took the cities because they'd learned to trust God. It was a generation that had learned to trust God. They'd learned to take the direction of God, and because of that, they were able to go in and take, as it were, the city of Jericho. At that point, it was the most heavily walled city on the planet, and were able to take that city by storm. So if you'll follow the direction that God has for your life, if you'll follow the direction that God has placed in front of you, sometimes that direction does not look like the place you want to get to, but He will direct your paths. In all your ways, it says, Proverbs chapter 4, He says, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Or one translation says, He'll make your paths straight.
Well, and also, Steve, and you mentioned Jeremiah 29:11, which is my scripture.
Right.
Sometimes we think that He doesn't know the plan, but that's exactly what He says. He says, I know the plan.
That's right. He knows the plan.
And sometimes, I hear people say, but He allowed it. Well, God will allow it if you allow it. So you have to take the word, stand on it, and say, no, devil, you can't go any further here. You can't attack my family, my children, the situation. And you stand on the word till it takes a turn, and it turns the tide, as you'd say. We're on the beach, and I'm going to give you a little shot of away from us to see some of the water and the waves and how the water flows back into the ocean. And they say it starts a lot of times just from a stream from the top of the mountains, and it continues on all the way through. So it gets to where it needs to go at some point, and that's how God will take us, is we'll get to where we need to go if we won't grow weary, won't give up, won't say that God doesn't see us or know where we're at.
That's right. That's right. Hey, check us out, Facebook, Life That's Real.
This
Thanks.
is Steve and Lisa. God bless and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.